What in the blue hell did I just watch? Oh my god, dude. We are so
what you're given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians and choose to be an accountant because it's safe.
Hey YouTubers, Southern Yankee back again. Took a vacation. Hope you guys didn't miss me. But that little socialism video that I showed you at the beginning of this podcast was done back in 2014. And that was sent in by a YouTube user going by the name of xXKNAHXx. And the reason why I wanted to put that video in today is to show everybody how long this narrative has been going. And I just noticed the chemtrails above my head. Did you guys see this? Anyways, but today's video, we're going to cover some of the amendments. We're going to do the 20th through the 22nd. And I think it's very imperative to cover that right now. The 20th Amendment states that a president or vice president, their term ends on January 20th at noon. So for all the stuff that the media is trying to tell you guys, no matter what they're trying to push down your throats, technically, Donald Trump is still your president until January 20th at noon. Okay? So, with that said, there's a lot of things going on right now. And Trump, if you ever get a chance to see this video, now's the time for you to do something if you're going to do anything. Because I'm not going to lie. I'm going to be up front. It's looking like the way things are out right now, it looks like the representative, the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, will be running things until we figure out what's going on. And I don't think that's a really good idea. Now on to the 21st Amendment, which we have brought up many times before. It was ratified on December 5th, 1933, and that was to repeal the 17th Amendment. And since we covered that amendment already and about the 21st Amendment, watch this little video on how amendments are passed or ratified. And then we'll come back to the channel.
When it was ratified in 1789, the U.S. Constitution didn't just institute a government by the people. It provided a way for the people to alter the Constitution itself. And yet, of the nearly 11,000 amendments proposed in the centuries since, only 27 have succeeded as of 2016. So what is it that makes the Constitution so hard to change? In short, its creators. The founders of the United States were trying to create a unified country from 13 different colonies, which needed assurance that their agreements couldn't be easily undone. So here's what they decided. For an amendment to even be proposed, it must receive a 2/3 vote of approval in both houses of Congress, or a request from 2/3 of state legislatures to call a national convention. And that's just the first step. To actually change the Constitution, the amendment must be ratified by 3/4 of all states. To do this, each state can either have its legislature vote on the amendment, or it can hold a separate ratification convention, with delegates elected by voters. The result of such high thresholds is that today, the American Constitution is quite static. Most other democracies pass amendments every couple of years. The U.S., on the other hand, hasn't passed one since 1992. At this point, you may wonder how any amendments manage to pass at all. The first 10, known as the Bill of Rights, include some of America's most well-known freedoms, such as the freedom of speech and the right to a fair trial. These were passed all at once to resolve some conflicts from the original Constitutional Convention. Years later, the 13th Amendment, which abolished slavery, as well as the 14th and 15th Amendments, only passed after a bloody civil war. Ratifying amendments has also become harder as the country has grown larger and more diverse. The first ever proposed amendment, a formula to assign congressional representatives, was on the verge of ratification in the 1790s. However, as more and more states joined the Union, the number needed to reach the 3/4 mark increased as well, leaving it unratified to this day. Today, there are many suggested amendments, including outlawing the burning of the flag, limiting congressional terms, or even repealing the Second Amendment. While many enjoy strong support, their likelihood of passing is slim. Americans today are the most politically polarized since the Civil War, making it nearly impossible to reach a broad consensus. In fact, the late Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia once calculated that due to America's representative system of government, it could take as little as 2% of the total population to block an amendment. Of course, the simplest solution would be to make the Constitution easier to amend by lowering the thresholds required for proposal and ratification. That, however, would require its own amendment. Instead, historical progress has mainly come from the U.S. Supreme Court, which has expanded its interpretation of existing constitutional laws to keep up with the times. Considering that Supreme Court justices are unelected and serve for life once appointed, this is far from the most democratic option. Interestingly, the founders themselves may have foreseen this problem early on. In a letter to James Madison, Thomas Jefferson wrote that laws should expire every 19 years, rather than having to be changed or repealed, since every political process is full of obstacles that distort the will of the people. Although he believed that the basic principles of the Constitution would endure, he stressed that the earth belongs to the living and not to the dead.
So as you see with that video, that is up to the people, the population, Congress in every state that can ratify, create, or establish an amendment to our Constitution. This is like a double-edged sword. A lot of people don't realize that. Even though the country is for the people, by the people, those who write the narrative have ways of working around it. So, you know, there are bills being passed or trying to be passed or amendments being written that is really completely unconstitutionalized. And like it states there before, the Constitution was designed for every American citizen. And we've had our ups and downs with it, but we always ratified and fixed things. That's what made our nation so great. And even though a majority of everything we've learned in life has been all hogwashed and candy-coated, I still hold to those principles today. I feel it in my soul, and I hope a lot of other Americans do. Now, the 22nd Amendment states that no one can be elected president more than 2 terms, and each term is 4 years apart. But that amendment was written in to keep us from ending up in a parliament or dictatorship. You know, the age of kings and queens are dead and gone, unfortunately, as much as we'd like to hang on to those beliefs. But anyways, I have come across some feed when everybody's talking about how the election was not fraudulent and that the Democrats have won legitly. Watch this little video of the Trump supporters in D.C. and tell me what you think. In case none of you all noticed, this is the Trump supporter rally in D.C. just earlier this week. That should tell you how serious people are taking this election, ladies and gentlemen, because they know what's about to come down the pipeline. Look at those masses. This is reality. Well, ladies and gentlemen and fellow patriots, that's what I got for this week. I will catch you guys later on as we continue our list of the amendments. And if there's anything you guys want to discuss or have any topics, go ahead and hit me up. Leave a comment. If you're new to the channel, hit that like button, subscribe. That way you get to see my beautiful, ugly face whenever you guys log on. So, YouTube, you have a great one. My patriots, God bless. I'm looking out for y'all. Later.